hate to be the one to break it to you, but sex education of the past failed us. Because birds and bees, they don't fuck. Welcome to Birds and Bees Don't Fuck, a show where we learn exactly how bad our formative sex education, or lack thereof, really was. I'm your host, Arielle Zadok. My guest today is a certified intimacy and relationship coach and adult performer whose kink is hearing what you're into. Please welcome to the show, Alex Gay.
Hi.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm so happy that this
course.
worked out.
Me
We're
too.
new friends.
I know. Newbies.
Newbies. Yes, we met at XBiz, and I remember that you looked fabulous.
Thank you.
And yeah, I really love, I mean, like, I'm not trying to like promote them or anything, but also I love that conference. I meet so many great people there.
Yeah.
Was that your first time?
No, it was my second XBiz. I'd been to the Miami one last year too, and that was fun. I find I make more connections at AVN personally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's just because of the style of work that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the style of work that you do? Because
Sure.
you live two lives.
I do, which like I've now kind of merged them. It just depends on what are people coming to me for.
Yeah.
You know? Or
I mean, hopefully coming no matter what.
To me for.
They're coming no matter what. We know that. That's the point.
That is the point.
But for how?
Yes. So I do. Yes, I do adult entertainment work. So just for fans, OnlyFans. But I focus a little more on the educational side. I do, plain old scenes, but the educational stuff is more what I'm leaning towards and what I enjoy more, honestly. I've also found that for the people that I bring into my coaching practice, they find my like spicy stuff and it gives them a sense of trust with me.
Yeah.
They know like I know what I'm talking about. Here I am. And also like I'm doing it on camera. So they trust that I can really help them with the confidence that they want to have in bed. But that kind of leads into that's my main thing. My main thing is doing one-on-one or work with couples on sex and their relationships, primarily around confidence and self-esteem in the bedroom. And exploring kinks and turn-ons, being able to communicate that and also being able to like try it out. I'm a really great safe place for them to ask any kind of question without feeling like an idiot.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of like I know maybe a shallow amount about a ton of different kinks.
Yeah.
So I'm a really good like intro person, and then when they're ready to go like more in depth after I've helped them get comfortable with being what they're into what they're into, then I can pass them off to maybe an expert dom or something like that.
Yeah, and that's a really good point that you bring up, because not every coach, educator, therapist, dom, facilitator, like not everyone is going to be perfect or good or the right fit for that specific thing that you're working on.
Right.
So you get to work with a bunch of people. You get to read a bunch of books. You get to go to taking a bunch of classes. Like it's not just first of all, it's not like I read a book and then I'm done. Like learning about sex and learning about your body is a lifelong thing, because your body, it gonna change.
Yeah.
I got news for you. If this is the first you're hearing about it, news flash, you're gonna get some flashes.
I learn about more stuff about myself all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's just such an overall stigma around, especially with men, like cis straight men specifically, like there's such a stigma around people not knowing things and not knowing information. And like, you have to be the best lover and like the best in bed, and you have to be a dom, and you have to be this, and you have to be that. And it's like, okay, but no one fucking taught you anything. So how are you possibly supposed to know anything? Like that's the whole point of this show, right? Like none of us learned anything. Every single person on this show has learned by fucking up and taken some lessons, right? Like that's kind of it. And I mean, it's the sexperts. Obviously, we're looking at different modalities and we have certifications, but like a lot of us have multiple certifications, or we're reading multiple books, or we're going to multiple people. Like it's not You don't just read one book and you're like, now I know sex. No, you don't.
Right.
But do read books.
And also, like, I learn from my clients too. That's why it's a
Yeah.
practice. It's not I don't have every single answer, but I'm willing to get curious with my clients. And um, often I have answers for them, but sometimes I don't know. It might be a little bit different than something I'm used to, but I'm very comfortable helping them figure out, oh, okay, here's the difference with your body versus what, we might be taught as a general thing, which I love being able to do, like that work around helping people go, okay, fuck figuring out like normal and trying to be that. Let's just learn your body.
Yeah. There's
It's
no
so much more
normal. Like,
effective.
what the fuck is normal? There is no normal, because what's normal to me is not normal to you.
Exactly.
And that's kind of with kinks as well, because kinks are essentially anything that is outside of the quote unquote norm. But it's like, okay, but you can find sucking dick to be a kink. Like
Right.
that can be a kink if that feels outside of your cultural norm for what is okay and what is expected. All of a sudden, something that in other areas is super normal is suddenly a kink. Choking, you don't think you're choking, you don't think you're kinky, but if you're choking someone, you're kinky. Like it's all of these little things that it's about the lens. So when we can step out of that and just be like, well, what do you like? What does your body do? What are you curious about? What is your partner like? Now we don't have these expectations.
Yeah. I mean, also, I'm gay in case anyone didn't know that. But when I first started looking at porn, my favorite part of it was just watching the guys make out.
Yeah.
Like that got me over the edge.
Yeah.
And so, sure, looking back, I would absolutely say that I had a kink for making out. And I think it's because men making out was not something I was seeing in my everyday life, which made it feel a little bit wrong, a little bit taboo, a little bit sort of like, ooh, this is a little bit naughty. I might feel a little bit of shame around that. And shame is like just a wonderful, beautiful clue to follow our desires and learn more about our kinks.
Oh, I love that perspective.
Yeah.
Because usually when we're talking about shame, it's like, no, we don't. I mean, listen, there are some things that you should feel fucking shamed of. And that is when you are cruel to other people or animals or people, like that we can talk about shame. That you can feel shame for. But most often when we're talking about shame, it is about releasing shame. But when we can get curious, where is that coming from? What is the fear underneath that?
Right.
Who are, because often shame is generally about getting like kicked out of the community, right? Like its roots are kind of in our safety, because if you did something wrong that's outside of what your society will accept from you, then you could get kicked out, which in our brains is like, I won't have food, I won't have shelter, I won't have connection, I will be ostracized, I will be alone, I'll never find people. All of those things are going on. So it's worthwhile looking at, who am I worried about? Why am I worried about that person thinking this thing? And what is it actually doing to me? And how is it holding me back from actually being myself? And maybe who can be more supportive? I don't know how much we're looking at who in the shame cycle, right? Like who are we afraid of in that cycle?
Yeah, I think it's also really important to recognize the difference between like an objective truth and a cultural norm. And we all grow up in so many microcultures. I think a lot of us have trouble, especially when it comes to sex, pausing and thinking about, oh, am I thinking that this is wrong because like objectively it is, or is this a message that I picked up somewhere? And is it from a source that I actually don't really listen to anymore and don't want to listen to? Like I grew up super religious. I was an evangelical. I was in like a little cult actually. And I had so many fucked up beliefs about sex from my upbringing. So
well, this feels like let's crack into this. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Maryland.
Okay.
Yep.
And you would not think that there are cults in Maryland, but I have news for you. Cults are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. And a lot of times we just call them high control groups, but that's still a cult. Like they're still these cult-like behaviors. So totally. I just paused to say that because I think we have this idea of cults being in the South or in the middle of the country or like on a compound in the middle of Texas or whatever.
California has more cults than any other state.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
by the
yeah.
way, they're here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Maryland in a cult, a religious
Yes.
cult.
Yeah.
I guess they're all, well, I guess they're all kind of rooted in religion in some way.
Yeah.
What do you remember about sex ed, if there was any sort of sex ed? Did you go to like a religious school or like a private
I was
school?
homeschooled.
Okay, homeschooled.
Yeah. I did first and second grade at a private school. That's a story for another day, but it was a really, really, really horrible place. Fucked a lot of people up. A lot of people that went to that school, they are not doing well now. A lot of them are like in prison or have like severe like mental issues. A few of them have survived, but I only keep in touch with one person that I know from that school.
That's fair.
But yeah, then I was homeschooled for the rest. So my sex ed consisted of 2 total conversations that I ever had with my dad. And the first one was some like little cartoon book that was like a Christian explaining sex to your kid book. And I just, the main things that I remember from this was a man and a woman, they will get naked, and then when the man sees the naked woman's body, then his penis will get hard, and then he just puts it inside of her, and then sperm go in, and they find an egg, and then they fertilize that egg, and that's where babies come from.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that.
Wow.
Just like that. You know, my biggest concerns were, one, how do I accidentally not pee?
Yeah.
Kid,
boys must think about that all the time. I forget that sometimes.
I was like, wait, how would I know what's coming out of me? What if it's pee? How would I know the difference? Like, because I mean, there's no context.
It's coming
there
out of
the
that. Same hole.
Right.
If you have a penis, it's not like a vulva, which is a different hole, by the way. Just so we can point that out there. There's a different hole.
There's a different hole. There is. And then my other concern was, what if I don't get hard by looking at a woman?
Yeah, and also like, well, very fair for you, but also I would think that even for the straight boys, like there must have been fear of like, but what if it happens and she's not naked? Or like, like I don't know. I think I would have thought about that too. Like, what if? I mean, where I guess that's where all of the don't let your shoulders show because boys can't control themselves. Like that's that fucking idea that men can't control themselves. Right. And how degrading to the men to be like, you are so bad that you can't control your, like, what?
And yet so many of them
can't
they love that excuse.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's exactly
that excuse.
That is exactly why it exists.
Yeah.
It is to be the scapegoat and to have that excuse and to do that. It's I know, it's so fucking layered. Yeah. Okay, so you had 2 conversations. And
the other conversation, I do remember having a conversation with him about what condoms were, because I was 14. I was working my first like W-2 job and at a library, and these girls were like, one of them offered to trade a condom for a Cheeto or something like that. Because she wanted some of the other girls' snack.
Condom for a Cheeto?
Yeah.
That is a trade I have not heard before. So you heard it here first.
And I didn't know what it was. I was like, what's a condom?
And is it worth trading for Cheetos?
And then they were making fun of me. And so I went home and I asked my dad. And then, of course, he was so judgmental. He goes, I can't believe these girls. They must be so promiscuous.
These whores.
Right.
Oh, my God. Because, so wait, was it a public library or was it in your cult community?
No, this is a public library.
Okay. So that's why. Because that was another thing. As soon as you said I was like, wait a minute. Condoms. Girls, what?
I was well socialized for someone growing up in a cult and being homeschooled. Like, I was around people constantly.
Yeah.
My parents are very social. So I had no shortage of social activities as a kid.
But was it mostly like people who were also in the cult with you?
Yeah,
Or okay,
mostly.
yeah. And what about the other kids? Did you talk about sex between each other? Was anybody like trying to figure it out, or was it all just everyone was kind of afraid to talk about it?
Yeah, definitely in my later teen years, like at sleepovers and stuff, we would talk about things, or we would like mess around a little bit, but I don't think we really knew what we were doing. It was more just like looking at each other's dicks or like touching each other's dicks. And it was always came with like so much shame and fear. And I remember like going home the next day and being so worried about like what if mom and dad found out that like we showed each other our penises.
Oh.
And they did find out once because one of the kids ended up telling his parents and it became this whole thing. But
Were they like concerned that you guys were doing something sexual or?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you know, I really wish that we had actually just been taught about what sex was, because I think if I didn't have that curiosity, then I would have known like, and there, what I was looking for as a kid was answers to my curiosity. If I
Yeah.
had had those answers, I don't think I would have been playing around like that.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
it's
any of us
also
would.
natural, I think, because kids are curious. Like when I had sex for the first time and I did most things for the first time, it wasn't because I was like so in love and it's like this fucking, it was just like, I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
Like it was never a big deal to me. And I did start earlier. I mean, it's pretty average. I had sex, like penetrative sex for the first time when I was 16 at other things earlier. So I did a lot of things like, I was doing drugs earlier too, like everyone's on their own path.
Yeah.
But it was never a thing that was like super built up for me or this big like romantic thing or anything like that. It was just like, I want to know what that's like. So I'm going to find out what that's like.
And I feel like that approach is also so much better. Like it would have been really cool too if my parents had had a conversation like that with me.
My parents did not have any conversations with me.
Oh, well.
I had zero.
Hopefully our listeners can be parents that have conversations like
please
that.
Do.
You do have kids. Yeah, to be able to be like have a supportive parent that's like, oh, let's like talk about this instead of shaming it. So much evil comes from people being ashamed and not
I've had several guests on the show that have had incredible parents, mostly single moms, but those stories are always fantastic. Like having that, I mean, I was very lucky. I have an older sister. She's almost 14. She's 13 and a half years older than me.
Okay.
So she was like mom's sister friend. So if I did have questions or anything was going on, I could always go to her about everything. And the way that she has raised her kids, they're all in their 20s now, so they're older. She was so honest, so open. She was like telling them about drugs, telling them about their bodies, like I don't want to be, it's not really telling anybody too much, but like, she would talk to her son about the clitoris and make sure that he was aware that sex is not that. There are so many different ways and that like your partner's pleasure really matters. And I think that there are so few boys that actually get that education. Because if the mom is close to the boy, it's usually a boy mom. And a boy mom is different from a mom who has a boy. Do you know what I mean when I say boy mom?
I do.
Yes. So do you want to kind of explain that a little? Because I think I've never talked about boy moms on this show before.
I mean, in my own experience, a lot of the boy moms they're like into the stuff that the boys are into, like maybe sports or something like that. But they're kind of like, my boy can never do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed with him. And I'm also going to I'm both going to coddle him, but then I'm going to also put these unfair, like manly expectations on him. And it's very confusing.
It is. Cause they kind of like, it's like their son becomes the partner that they never had. And so that's where like when these boys get older and they get girlfriends and they get wives, now we have a lot of conflict. And I mean, like I listen to a lot of Reddit stories things. So I've gotten a lot deeper into the boy mom thing and hearing how these things manifest because of Reddit stories. And some of it is really wild. And the behavior, like when you're reading the story of this person being like, well, this is what happened, as an educator and as a coach, I'm like, oh, I can for sure see what's going on here. And it's very clear to see. But most people don't have that support system, which is why they go to Reddit. But it is a really, really interesting phenomenon when these women become like kind of obsessed with their sons in this really unhealthy way. It's not like they're doing anything sexual with them, but there is this weird relationship that builds.
Yeah. Yeah, it is strange.
Yeah. And so what was it like for you, like maybe getting out of the cult? And we don't have to necessarily, whatever you want to talk about. But I'm curious in terms of like your own expansion and going from like being in a cult to being an adult performer. Like that's a stretch. Although I'm sure many adult performers have cult backgrounds.
I think there is a large overlap there.
Yeah.
There's also a large neurodivergent overlap for sure.
Yeah.
I think because we'll latch onto something that we're curious about, and then it's like, this is my whole personality now.
Yes.
I just want to learn everything about it. Hyper fixation. But yeah, no, so performance to me is a way of like actually embodying empowerment and being my authentic self and facing the things that I was anxious about and had fear around. And there's still things every now and then where I'll go, why am I anxious about this? And then I go, oh yeah, because my nervous system still thinks I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's so much unlearning and undoing, and it is deep. It's not your head that's doing it anymore.
No. Yeah. So, but the short version of my story is I didn't leave Christianity or anything until I hit rock bottom in 2017. That's the year that like I had gotten the lowest in my depression. I was dating this guy. He broke up with me, and I was like, thank God I have no reason to live anymore. And then I tried killing myself. Thankfully, it wasn't successful. But it was actually in the hospital when those nurses were like attending to me, because I needed to be in there for like almost a week to detox and then another almost week of inpatient care. It was being in the presence of these humans that wanted to care for me, even though I wasn't doing anything in return. And for the first time, it started putting cracks in that belief about myself that it was what I do for people that gives me value rather than having inherent value. So that made an enormous difference. And then I think it's just been a lot of therapy and a lot of unlearning, and then coaching, like learning about coaching. I started doing fitness and nutrition coaching the same year of that suicide attempt. But like afterwards, as I was learning more about life coaching, it was more because I was like trying to find me and find love and acceptance for myself. And then I was like, oh wait, this is an industry that I could like work in and do this. And now that I'm at a place that like I'm grounded, I could help other people. Hell yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I started coaching. That's the and that was
so you were still in the cult like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't
Wow.
I didn't fully leave Christianity until 2020.
Wow.
18, 19. So almost, not quite 3 years, but almost 3 years after the suicide attempt.
Wow.
But that event really did kind of put a crack in my belief system, because I had to go, well, something isn't working.
Yeah.
We need to reinvent like my worldview. But yeah, it wasn't until 2020 that I really stopped going to church and started researching and understanding more about religion and Christianity and where it comes from. And knowing a lot of that helped me deconstruct pretty quickly. I mean, within a year, I was like, oh, I'm an atheist.
You were like fast track.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you are at a point where you're willing to take your own life, it's not expected that you would fast track something, but it is not surprising that you're like, oh, everything has to change. Everything.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just, you can't, there's no going back after that. And I'm
No,
so glad that it didn't turn out that way, because I was saying that I do work for Movember, and I, raise money and awareness and all that stuff for the Distinguished Gentleman's Drive. And something I learned through doing that work is that every 60 seconds, a man worldwide will take his life. So by the time we're done with this episode, 60 men around the globe will have made that decision and will have followed through with it. And that is heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's so much pressure, I think, that AMAB people put on themselves. Just because a lot of cultures have a lot of pressure on men to perform this definition of masculinity or manhood. And no, I don't think, I'll leave it at most people. I think most people don't want to live that way.
No.
It's stupid.
It is.
It's so
yeah.
stupid.
It's rough. I'm going to give this dog as being so fussy. I'm going to get her something real quick.
No problem.
Okay, we're back. We're back. It was a Rosie break. I literally had to make a card for Rosie breaks, because in most of my episodes, I have to like get up and do something for her, because she is just,
so cute.
She's an old, relentless lady.
Yeah.
She needs things. But yeah, to your point of this idea of masculinity and this idea of manhood, something that I talk about often, and especially when I'm hosting the drive, is like, you are allowed to be an entire human being.
Yes.
With thoughts and feelings and desires and fears and softness and hardness and femininity and masculinity and androgyny and all of those things. Like, when we try to put any human into such a constrictive box, it's no wonder there's so much pain. And I think also, I mean, I'm so glad that you are a man doing this work, because you may have found this also. There are a lot of women that will not work with men. And I understand that. I totally understand it. And there are not that many men doing this work. So it's so important that you are here and you are doing this work, because I think it is so much harder for cis straight men to get tools, resources, watch shows. If you're watching this, you're a fucking real one. So thank you for being here. I thank you for doing the work. But it is harder. I think it's an undeniable reality, because this is the society that we live in.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you work with a lot of straight men, or like, I mean, maybe in the couple dynamics, but
most of my clients are queer. I do work with anyone, but most of my clients are queer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
A lot of them are looking for a space to like understand themselves. Because one, if they did have a sex education, it probably didn't apply to them at
Absolutely
all.
not.
And then, not that anyone's getting a great one in this country, but they're really not. They're really getting fucked over in the queer community. And then also just like enjoying being themselves. Like, a lot of queer people have confidence and self-esteem issues. And so a lot of my work with them is on that. Whereas like a lot of straight men, a lot of them do have a lot of insecurity, but they like don't know that they're insecure usually. So a lot of them, my message, I think, doesn't necessarily, like my marketing messages don't necessarily resonate with. But I have worked with several straight men. They adore me. I always am baffled. Like, how did you find me? I'm so glad you're here, but how did you find me?
Yeah. Well, shows like this. But I think also there is a lot of benefit with a straight man working with a gay male coach, or a man who has sex with men, because then you've got both perspectives. You have the perspective of, being with men and being a man, and that is invaluable. And of course, like, part of it is learning about the vulva and learning about the female body and all of that. But in terms of like lived experience, that's invaluable of what it's like to be a man in the world.
Yeah. I also know a lot more about the female reproductive system than most gay men do.
Oh,
So
for sure. I mean,
helps.
you've literally been trained. So,
Right. Yeah. And I've played her. I have a really good friend. She and I have like done some little play dates here and there, and it's been really
fun.
fun. We've talked about that on her podcast before, and it's I've she's the only woman to this day besides a doctor who's like touched my privates and been inside
Oh,
my butt and
that's
touched
so
my dick. I
wholesome.
know. Yeah, and vice versa. She's the only vulva I've ever explored. Yeah.
Oh, but it's different when you're like with a friend. I feel like I have a group of friends that we all play together, and
Mm-hmm.
there are people within that group that like one on one, I wouldn't sleep with you. Like it's just it wouldn't happen. We wouldn't go on a date together, but like we're in a group scene and like we are
Yeah.
doing whatever and it's great and it's a fun time and everybody cares about each other because the friendship is
Yes.
there and they're just like these other things that don't need to exist in that context because this is the activity. It's like you're going golfing together,
Right.
You're going to play pool.
Yeah. But it feels really good. And it
Exactly.
feels better than playing
Yeah.
pool.
And it's also really sweet. Like I was in a group scene the other day, and one person was like very new to all of this stuff and like knew she didn't really suck dick before so much. And I
Yeah.
mean, she's old enough to have had the experiences. She just hasn't really had much. And it was like very sweet that in the middle of the scene, one of the people with penises, one of the men was like, do you know what to do with balls? Like, here's
Right.
how you can touch this. Here's how you can do it. And then like I'll like pop up and be like, you can also do this and this feels really nice too. So it's like
Yes.
it becomes like this really nice tool to teach each other.
Yeah.
And the fact that our society doesn't allow for friends to engage in this specific activity, I think is
Yeah.
such a loss because it limits the amount of naked bodies that you see, which is
Yes.
so important for your own confidence. Like speaking of
Oh my
confidence, like
gosh.
seeing other naked bodies,
Yeah.
like go to a Korean bath, please. Or like in
Yes.
I think it's hammam.
Or
Hammam, I think is the other type of bath. Just go to a bathhouse.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be a sex bathhouse, like just a bathhouse and see naked people.
Yeah. Or a nudist resort. Like
Yeah.
you get to see such variety.
Mm-hmm.
Or become a porn star like me and go to I just got back from a collab house, which is where like a bunch of content creators that do like OnlyFans and just for fans, we do a big Airbnb together. And let me tell you what, when there's no cameras rolling and no one's trying to flex, like there's a lot more body variety in there. I also think the industry has evolved because of sites like OnlyFans,
Oh.
where people are realizing that they are attractive and they don't have to look the one singular way that
Mm-hmm.
capitalism says, oh, you're supposed to look this way. And anything else is disgusting. So pay us money and we will help you,
Yeah.
like,
We're going to create this fear that didn't exist before
right.
by telling you that there's an archetype and there's a hair and eye and body and whatever color, size, shape, whatever. And then we're going to convince you that we can fix you.
Yeah.
But first, we need to convince you that you're broken.
Exactly.
But we have the key. Like,
Yeah.
what a mind fuck.
Yeah.
I agree. And like, also sites like Make Love Not Porn have done such a great job too. And that is, I think, the best thing other than like obviously like ethical porn and the way that we're producing things now versus even 10, 20 years ago is so different. And there is so much more of a focus. I mean, I'm not an adult, but I'm obviously like adjacent to it and having these conversations.
Yeah.
But the focus so much more on performer consent and performer desires and who you want to be performing with versus just like getting thrown together. And, it's what have you found? When did you start?
About 2 years ago.
Okay. So over the last 2 years, have you seen many shifts or do you feel like it's been relatively stable in those 2 years?
My ramp up has been quite gradual, which there's part of me that judges myself like, oh, I wish I had like jumped in faster. I wish I had gotten started like before the rush of 2020. But to be honest, I don't think I would be having as good of a time as I am. I think my slow ramp in has allowed me to really pay attention to like my comfort levels and taking like making that the priority
Yeah.
over it's still not like a main source of income for me.
Sure.
It's not a main income source for most people, even though like a lot of fans think, oh, this is what they do. Like, no,
It's
this is how they pay for gas
yeah, it's
or
the
how
same as
they do a
acting.
vacation.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Actors
not,
don't live on it either. Like there are very
no.
few in both industries, mainstream and porn. Very few performers afford to only do that. That you're
Yeah.
talking about like the top 1%.
Yeah. At less than that. Like in OnlyFans, even the top
Oh yeah.
1% does not make enough to live on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like it's a passion project. We love it. And we wouldn't be doing it if we did.
Yeah. I
So
think that's a major difference from what we have seen in the past because there has been abuse. There's always been people
yeah.
who fucking love fucking.
Right.
But there's also always been abuse, just like in mainstream as well. There's no real difference there. The difference is that there's actual sex versus simulated sex. So that's really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But that I think as an observer over the years, I think that's one of the biggest differences that I have seen in terms of what maybe the culture is starting to understand more is that like, no. We're here because we want to be here, which again may not have always been the case in the past,
Right.
unfortunately. But when Erica Lust came on the scene and she started really prioritizing performers and talking about these things, and
Yeah.
that was like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Um,
A long time.
yeah.
But she really, I think, started to shift the culture around porn and performers. And then you do hear more and more people are like, no, we love this. And you
Right.
got to listen to the people who are doing the work.
Right. Yeah. If I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to shoot the first scene? Like the first time?
Terrifying.
What made you decide? Like how did you get into it in that like that first scene?
Okay, so my first 5 OnlyFans videos were me looking for a way to overcome my own fears around being naked on camera and my own like judgments of it. I thought, hey, this would be a really great self exercise. I want to get more comfortable with this stuff. This is, going to be kind of scary, but I think I'll learn something from it. And I'm also setting an example for my clients. So I did these, what I called naked, like strip interviews, and I would work with another creator on OnlyFans. Again, I think I only did 5, maybe 6 of these, but we would ask each other vulnerable questions. And as we answered them, then we would like take off an article of clothing
Oh my
until we
God.
were totally naked and then just like cuddling. But there wasn't any sex in it. It was just like, oh, can we have nudity? Can we model for people what it's like to be intimate with each other, to be vulnerable, to be honest and authentic? And I was very nervous for those, but as they went on, they got a little bit easier. And then it's either the fifth or the sixth one. So like one of the last two, the person that I was doing it with, we had talked about having sex for a while, just like in our personal lives. So then we were like, oh, do we want to like maybe just like have sex right now and we'll just keep the cameras rolling? And that's what we ended up doing. And so that was my very first full like fucking scene for OnlyFans. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think everything you just said about modeling intimacy and nudity, that is powerful to be
Yeah.
able to show people that, like, first of all, the visual of like taking off the emotional layers and taking
Mm-hmm.
off the physical layers.
Yeah.
I love that. Like,
Yeah.
what a great show.
Yeah.
Full stop. Like,
Thank
if you
you.
ever wanted to go back to that, that is a
I'll let you
gold mine.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that's really great. Because I think that there's a lot going on there for people to be able to see. But
Yeah.
also, a lot of people struggle with arousal and they struggle with pain during sex and health issues and all these different things. So to be able to model nudity and cuddling and intimacy that
Yeah.
doesn't involve a sexual activity, because intimacy is not always sex,
Right.
how fucking beautiful that
Yeah.
is.
It
And
was
that,
really fun. I loved doing it. That
yeah.
first one, I remember being done with it and just buzzing with excitement. I was like, "Oh shit. This is something special. I have no idea if other people will enjoy watching it, but I was like, I want to keep doing this for my own sake."
Yes.
Uh yeah. It was some of the most, maybe the most validated I had like ever felt, or the most potent dose of
Mm.
feeling validated for being just my authentic self. It was powerful.
And do you feel like that validation came just from the act of being filmed, or did it come once you hit
No,
publish or once you got reactions?
no, it was the act of being naked in bed with someone and us being so vulnerable together to like expose myself that much to somebody, and for them to still like me and get physically closer to me in the video. And um it was the experience, like, the I didn't care about like the reactions,
Yeah.
um because I didn't really have an audience on OnlyFans at the time to be reacting to it. I
Mm-hmm.
probably had like one or two people be like, "Oh yay, that looks cool."
Yeah.
um but no, like the act of creating it was just a really wild, very I don't know, like very fulfilling experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, you don't need a camera for that.
Yeah,
That's
no.
literally just like, what a great couples activity.
I had that in mind, and I also was thinking, oh, maybe I create like a little digital printout or some kind of game that people could
Cute.
download and they could repeat this at home. I ended up not following through with that, but who knows? Maybe my
Who
ADHD
knows?
will come back around and I'll get on that
Yeah.
kick again.
Because you could even just do, oh my gosh. Now I'm like, my business brain, my
I
producer brain is
know.
like, well, you could do this and this and like, okay, so I'm gonna save it because we're
We'll
not gonna
talk
give all the
after.
secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to produce
I
this?
am, yeah, I'm like such an ideator. Someone is like, oh, I'm thinking about
Yes.
this thing. I'm like, great. This is how
Yes.
we can do that. This is how we pull it together. We're gonna need this. We're gonna
Hmm.
need this. Oh, I know this person. I'm like,
Hmm.
that's how my ADHD works. I'm like, oh, you have an idea?
Yeah.
Let me flesh it out with you. Let's figure it out.
Yes.
Let's bring this to fruition. So
Mm.
it's so, yeah, it's even so just for my own journey and from for where I'm at now is coming back to that side of myself
Mm.
and coming back to producing and doing
Yeah.
that, not moving away from this work per se, but the last year I mean I've been a coach since 2014, going like I was a
Mhm.
holistic health coach first. Production has always been number one. So if I had like a
Yeah.
commercial or a film or a TV show or whatever, like that was always number one.
Got
So I
you.
could never like really commit to long-term things. So I would do what I could, how I
Yeah.
could with, whatever clients I could. And this last year, the podcast was down, work with film and television was slow. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go all in with coaching and figure out if there's a
Mm.
way that works for me or not. I produced a whole course. And when I was done, I was like, and I loved the act of creating it and
Yes.
scripting it and shooting it and writing it and creating all the documents and put like literally all of the production for it. I was like, this is fucking great. And it's a great program
Yeah.
also. I do still have it up. It's thepleasureproducer.com/FCK.
Wow.
But afterwards, I was like, I don't want to have to do anything I have to do to sell this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do the emails. I don't want to do the TikToks. I don't want to do the Instagrams. I don't
Yeah.
want to do a single thing that I have to do to build this out as a business, which is probably why I've never gone fully in. I've been a consultant and I've done this and I've done that. And so now I'm just at this place where it's like, girl, you're a producer. So like just fucking stick to that.
Yes. Yes.
But that's like, I think when you're doing this work, to your point in the beginning about coaching, and when you get into these coaching programs, by doing this work,
Yeah.
we are always doing work on ourselves. It can be exhausting. Like we're always uncovering. We're always like, let's take this layer off. Let's take this layer off. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, where
Yeah.
where do you feel like you're at now on your journey of unlayering?
I think there's going to be more layers till the day I die, for sure.
For sure. Oh
I
my
will
gosh.
always be doing more. But I think the most obvious and the most painful outer layers I've worked through, at least most of the way, if not all the way. I just try to leave room because I'm sure at some point I go, oh, wow, I thought it was over this and I wasn't.
Didn't know that was going to pop up.
Yeah. Right.
Hello.
But I mean, that initial work is the toughest stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the point where it's more like refinement, kind of like I've never carved a statue out of marble, but I am sure you get like a rough draft and that's the hardest part. And then you're like just kind of tinkering with, okay, now we like really make this look real, which is a different kind of difficult. But yeah, I think I have the bulk of the stuff done, and now it's like constant maintenance and tweaking. And I think that one of the traps though that I can fall into with that is thinking, oh, well, I must have this whole area just done and I don't need to learn anything else about this. And that's not true. I'm always going to be learning something new. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think also perspective offers us something new too. So, and the same, different people can teach the same class, and two different people can do it, like, right? Like the same exact concepts can be shared by different people, and you could know those concepts. You could be like, yeah, I know how that works. I totally understand that. Or I practice this, or I teach it myself. But then someone else presents it to you in a way that you're like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
And so the work, it never is done. And I think, again, this look at how nice everything's tying together. Oh my God. But
we didn't plan it.
We didn't plan it. I mean, this is just where we're flowing. But to the point of like the beginning of the conversation, and that really came because so I have Come As You Are over there that you pointed out. And one of my TikToks, somebody replied to, I don't know, I was in a night of like doing video replies, which is super fun. So comment on TikToks because I like replying in videos now. It's really like it's a conversation. It's so fun.
I like that.
Yeah, it is. And one person was saying, I was doing it with a few people, but the point is that they're like, oh, well, you know, a book is good in the beginning, but then you have to have the conversation. So I replied back with a video that was basically like, yeah, read the books, like you need the foundation, but it's not that type of learning. And this was coming from a man who was with a woman. That type of learning doesn't end. It's not like, oh, I read this one book and now I'm in a relationship, so now it's all on my partner. The labor of pleasure cannot be on your partner. You need to learn it. You need the foundation, and then you're going to keep learning and growing together.
100%.
I mean, you work with couples, so, you know, working with couples is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's challenging. What do you think is the most challenging thing about working with couples?
Keeping my mouth shut.
Well, obviously you can't,
there's so many times when I go.
Confidentiality is legit.
Oh, no. I'm talking about like keeping my mouth shut with them in the session.
Oh!
When I go, honey.
That's what's hard.
Honey, like you two came to me with this. It's so obvious what your miscommunication is here, but it's so obvious to me because I'm outside of this.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, we need to dial back and get a bunch of foundational pieces in here, and then they figure it out. I don't need to tell them directly usually. I mean, I also am very direct in my coaching. So sometimes I do, but
there's a balance though.
There are certain things that I'm like, it's not going to be useful for me to point this out because if I do, then it might come across as like guilty or shamey, and that's never what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think, and also them knowing it is not the important thing. What's important is them being able to communicate through it. So even if I just blurt it out, here's what I see. Yeah. It's like, okay, great.
Now what?
Right. That
great.
Doesn't
Thank you for telling us
their communication style.
And people also have to be ready to receive information and feedback. And sometimes being direct about it, you're right, is not going to be the best pathway for them to see that. Sometimes you have to, I mean, that's what high mileage questions are. High mileage questions are questions that you can't answer yes or no to. So you have to actually give an answer. You have to talk it out. And that is really what helps people like come to things.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, if you have a coach or a therapist or anyone that is constantly telling you what to do, they're not doing a good job, and you need to find a new one, because that's not the job. The job is never to tell people what to do or how to do or how to feel or anything like that. It is, to your point, of like, how can I help you get to this? Because you're the one that needs to get there, but I can't shove it down your throat.
Yeah. When I do have clients ask me, like, can you please just tell me what you would do? My answer is always like, I'll tell you, but also it may not work for you as well as it works for me. So like, I'll tell you what I would do, but then as long as we're going to agree that we're going to set it up like an experiment, and you're going to try it and you're going to find what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And then we'll iterate on that, and we'll get to a point where you find the best recipe for you, because that's something that'll actually make a change. Them just trying to do what I would do is not necessarily a long-term solution. Or even short-term sometimes. But
and that, I mean, what works for one person is not going to work for another, because we have different brains, different circumstances, different histories, different family systems and structures, and I mean, all of these things. So I understand the need to be like, what did you do? So I have some sort of a template to work off of, and then tweaking it. But yeah, I have been very jaded by the coaching industry in general, because I've seen a lot of bullshit, you know, like you really do. You see a lot of people who are real good at marketing and not good at the job itself. And that does cause harm. And when you see someone who is like, this is the way, you have to do it this way, this is what I did, this is why it works, it's like, that's what worked for you. And you figured it out. So you need to help them figure it out for them. So I love that you're like, yes, and.
And the funny thing, I just posted, did a remake of a video that I did a few weeks ago, and I posted it as I was on my way here. And it is about, I have my best friend from back in Maryland. Every now and then he'll send me like videos from other creators, and he had sent me this video where this one creator who I know called out another creator who I also know, and was like, his way of talking about how to douche is not correct, and went on this whole thing about it. And I was like, first of all, the guy that made the original video was talking about his own personal experience. It was not meant to be a tutorial. So like, shut the fuck up. Second, you're narrow-minded, like, it should be this way only, is not helpful as a coach or an instructor. And so I made this video explaining like, hey, so I saw these people arguing about this, but I didn't attach it because I didn't really want to get into their drama. But here's some general knowledge about anatomy, and then here's some things to think about. And now you have to go and experiment with your own body to figure out like what works best for you. And that's my favorite way to teach.
Yeah, that's the move. I mean, because then you're empowering people with information and autonomy. And y'all know me, I'm a consent bitch. So that's part of it, is like, here's all the information. Now it's up to you. And we really do need to be our own detectives for all of these things, whether it's about nutrition, sex, you know, anything we want to do with ourselves. I don't know, those are the only two things I mentioned, but you know, whenever anything is going on with ourselves, we have to be our own detectives. We have to seek out information and perspectives. And yes, coaches and therapists and physical therapists, and yes, to all, you need your village. But your village is there to give you information that they took decades to learn in most cases. So it's like, remember that you're not going to them as the end all be all, which we do so much with doctors. It's like, I know more about sex, you know more about sex than doctors do, because we have trained in those areas. Doctors do not, unless they specifically train in sex and sexuality. Even urologists, they don't know. So,
but you're going to know also a lot more about some areas of sex that I'm going to know very little about, and vice versa.
Yes, exactly. So it kind of goes back again to like different people for different things. So just remember to be your own little detectives.
Yeah.
Nancy
And
drew
we're here
that
to
shit.
help you. We're your assistant. We're not your Lord and Savior.
Yeah, not the guru.
No.
No, like, yeah, that whole, I mean, I don't teach yoga or anything, but I do have my like yoga teacher certification.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have been jaded because I would see people posting on social media. This was like, 10, 15 years ago or something. I would see people like posting these things on social media and I'd be like, bitch, I know you in life. Like that is not you. That is, again, some people are very good at marketing and not good at many other things. And I'm not trying to talk shit, but like, again, do your detective work on the people that you work with as well. And speaking of the people that you work with Dr. Tush, and they're so sweet. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Tell me about that and how you got involved with them. Look at this. Oh, look, it matches my mic.
It does. It's so on brand for
I love
you.
that.
I love
it is.
This.
This one's the After Dark.
After kink play.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one's after butt
kink.
play.
I can't even read.
I mean, you can
I was like, I know the word kink is in here somewhere. Don't worry, I can read.
It's okay. We all have our talents. So this one that matches your hair so beautifully.
Yes.
This is the after butt play. And you can use all of these, you can use anywhere on your body. It's totally safe to use anywhere. They are also pH balanced, so it's safe for vulva and vaginal use as well.
And they have one for menopause now too, right? Or perimenopause. They have one that she was showing me. All of them. I like hung out at the booth so much.
After vajay play.
After vajay play, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I missed that. That's so funny.
But the two main ingredients are a little tiny bit of peppermint oil. Don't be scared. It's not like, oh my god, I'm going numb. It's more like after you brush your teeth and it feels fresh.
Yeah.
It's similar to that. It's not the same as that, but it's similar, just lightly refreshing and lightly cooling. And then hydrogel is the main thing in these, and it's used at like hospitals for severe burns. It helps skin tissue repair really quickly.
Ooh.
So any like irritation, dryness, or split skin, these things help so much.
Yes, and this one has arnica in it. That's why mine is
and
open.
Vitamin E.
Ew, and vitamin E. Yeah, I've actually been putting it on my toe that's injured. I'm wearing a boot still because I have bruising on it that hasn't gone away, and I might have bruising for the rest of my life. But I was like, you know what? I've got that after kink. I'm gonna put some of that on there because it is nice.
It is. I got spanked really, really, really hard at the collab house, and it wasn't multiple spanks. It was literally he did one and he missed. And then he did another one, and it was probably the hardest hit I've ever had on my butt in my life. And it was with his hand. He was like, oh my gosh. But it instantly bruised, and there was like a line between where his fingers were where like it didn't bleed, but there was like one layer of skin. And I put this stuff on after it. And within a day, it was like dramatically better. It was still had a little bit of a red line, but I think it's gone now.
That's amazing. Yeah. Good job.
So it works. I love it.
So Dr. Tush, we have a link down below. So get your Dr. Tush.
Yeah, you're giving everyone a discount off of it.
I am. Tell me what it is, because I don't even know what it is. Do you know what it is?
No, you made it up when you signed up.
Oh, that's right. So I have to do my homework. I don't know. I got to do my homework, y'all, but it will be done by the time this is posted. I promise you that. I'm going to do it today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the Reddit stories that I pulled for us, and you're going to tell us which one we're going to start with.
Okay.
And then we'll tell people where to find you.
Okay.
So I pulled 3 stories. We'll do however many we have time for. The first one I pulled is, am I the asshole for breaking up with my girlfriend after she wanted our relationship to be pussy free?
What?
Yeah, exactly. My husband needs to touch my breast to fall asleep. I'm exhausted and need a divorce. Am I the asshole? I don't know why I pulled all these straight dude stories. Actually, I don't know about the first one. Anyway.
Am I the straight dude? I mean, the asshole?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I think it's maybe just interesting for us to dissect them as a species.
Please, if you're a straight man, don't run. You're obviously a cool one if you're here listening.
Exactly.
We do love you and we appreciate your curiosity.
Exactly. And you get to laugh at this shit with us.
Yes.
Because y'all know exactly how ridiculous some of this shit is.
Yes.
The last one that I pulled is, am I the asshole for breaking up with my girlfriend because she literally told me she would cheat on me if I took a new job? I got weird ass story. Reddit is a wild place.
Wild.
So do you have a preference with which one we start with?
Let's just go in order.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
That was like a left turn I was not expecting.
That's how we roll. Novelty, baby. We keep you on your toes. We keep you surprised.
I mean, I have ADHD. I was like, oh wait, I'm engaged. If I was falling asleep, I'm here now.
We're fucking in it.
Right? So you can find me, hey, like, hello, hey, Alex Gay, on any social media platform.
I love that. Yeah. So we will link below. You can find me at Birds and Bees Don't Fuck without the U because censorship is real. And of course, if you can spell my name, you know where to find my Instagram too, or my personal Instagram. This is all going to be on Patreon. So if you want the goods, go ahead and follow on Patreon. But for now, make sure that you subscribe, like, send this to a friend, comment, join us every Wednesday for the live watch parties or in the chat. I'm literally in the chat with you right now. So I probably just posted all of Alex's stuff and also the links to this stuff because I'm on it, because I'm on the chat. Anyway, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, what a fun conversation.
Ugh, I know. I could easily go on and on. I mean, we did when we first met. We were chatting away, and then I was like, you need to come on my show. Yeah. Yeah. Such busy days. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again and again and again and again. And again. Bye.